Felix and Winston here, and welcome to this pre-market live stream. I want to run through the following for you to make you the best informed investor out there today. The $1 million tip for the market today. 3 massive breakout stocks you need to understand and be aware of. And then I want to show and explain to you the secret of this bull rally that Winston just explained to me here. He's very smart, this one. He's very good at sniffing out stocks. And then as a bonus, we'll run through some of your favorite stocks. You can ask me questions and Winston will do his best to answer them. And that's it. If that sounds good to you, smash the you-know-what and we'll get cracking straight away. And let me just let Winston out because you'll get annoyed if he's sitting in here, I think. Wait, you want to stay in here? No, you want to go out, don't you? Yeah. So now that the brains have left the building, it's just you and me. So here we go. The $1 million tip, the 3 massive breakout stocks that we've got going on here today. And I mean really massive. The secrets of this bull market. And a bonus I want to give you in the following couple of minutes. So stick around, as they say. And what do we start with? Well, so TradeVision emails me every day, twice a day, in fact, and it gives me these lovely little breakout stocks. So that's TradeVision. It's an app that we built. If you want to check that out, there is a free trial, 7-day trial to that, and 0 risk for you. And it's what I use every day to like find trades and set them up and so on. And you know, there's some beautiful names on here, right? There is Tesla, there is Microsoft, there is Bitcoin, there's CrowdStrike, there is a lot of stuff that we look at regularly, and some of those we're going to definitely look at because they're important, but there is actually more to that I want to explain to you as well. So we are literally in an environment we haven't been in a quarter century, 25 years. What were you doing 25 years ago? How different was the world 25 years ago? It was 1999. We were all worried that the world was going to stop in 2000. I celebrated in Brazil, Copacabana Beach. It was fun. It was very, very good fun. And I digress. But that was the last time where we had a moment where stocks are moving so far away from the market. So the red line here, if I can get a red pen, is basically the market, the sort of, do the stocks move perfectly in line with the market, right? 50-50 kind of thing. And what we're seeing right now is that almost none of the stocks are correlated to the S&P 500. They're not moving with the market. And that creates tremendous opportunity and also tremendous underperformance. All right. Kevin can't hear me. So what does that therefore mean? It means that the stock pickers are making a bucket load of money, and we are, right? Let me show you a couple of trades. We know we started these trades here in, I don't know, mostly in the last 3 months, right? This is a 30K portfolio, which I use to demonstrate what we do. It's up $40,000 in just the last couple of months. And one of the annoying things is you can't really tell from a trade. You can't even tell like when you set it up, right? Which is super, super annoying, which is why we import that data and then put it into TradeVision here where we can actually see it. So I can click on the Tesla trade and I can see exactly when I set it up, that green arrow there and that one, and I can see exactly how much each bit is up by and so on. So super useful. And what's coming up soon, guys, is automated syncing. Very excited by that. So we'll be able to connect your brokerage and the data will flow automatically in there. So you will no longer have to upload, CSV files. But again, I digress slightly because this is so important. And most people don't realize this. Everyone's just like, buy the index. Yeah, buy the index. All right, you would have had a good year this year. You would have made almost 30%. But, our PayPal trade up by, what did I just say? Or SoFi rather, 269%, right? A little better, right? And that's exactly what's going on out there, is that some people are making a lot of money and most people are not. And what's the difference? It's skill. It's just the knowledge, the actual steps to take. And have a look at this. This is Apple. Apple is starting to really, really break out again, right? We called it a breakout here at what, $240 or thereabouts, 242. And, you know, it's rallying up very nicely. And most people missed that, right? Most people missed that. Actually, the real breakout was actually happening here a little bit earlier. If you watched our masterclass, you will know what I'm looking at here, right? You will see the big spike in volume there, which is hugely important, and that's actually what triggered that rally up. So, what can you do about it? Well, who here wants to make more money? Anybody wants to make more money? If you want to make more money from your portfolio, put a 1 in the chat. That's more money, okay? If you don't want to make more money, put a 2 in the chat. And in which case, you're probably here for, I don't know, kitten videos or something, and you got a little bit confused, which is also okay. But anybody wants to make more money? Anybody at all? Fox Gaming is already, the power has already gone to his head, which was inevitable, wasn't it? And he's timing people out. Kind George is a nice chap. Fox, he always tunes in. But look at all those ones. Look at all those ones. That's what happens. You give somebody a little bit of power and, you know, concentration camp guard 3 weeks later. So, brilliant. Okay, love it, guys. Here for the kittens too. You know, the kittens I have are so sweet. I've got 2 new kittens we adopted on Sunday. They're really sweet. They just found their way into our bedroom and were snuggled up together. Really sweet little ones. So we might sleep in them today and all the other ones that we've got. Loving all the ones here, George, and the smileys. Brian, love you too. We had to block Fox. Yes, obviously. Power went to his head. Okay, so I said to you in the title something about banks buying, right? And what I want to really explain to you here is something that almost nobody understands out there. Everybody thinks we're in this bull market, you know, Bitcoin's at 100,000, Tesla's at 400 and something, and oh my God, everything is expensive. Palantir is trading at a PE of 90 billion and, you know, that kind of thing. And what's actually happening is that the big funds haven't really bought a lot yet. And almost nobody realizes that. So on here in a miserable gray, to sort of reflect the misery that is the corporate world and having a job, we have the exposure, or basically how invested is the big money, and I know my handwriting is atrocious, in tech, right? And the whole rally is tech. And if I draw a line here, well, we're somewhere here. Cross. And can you see that we're at super low levels, like almost the lowest levels in the last 4 years. Okay, there was a little bit at the end of 2022 when we thought the world was going to end and there'd be a massive recession and everybody was, you know, burying gold bars and children in the backyard. But we're at a very low exposure level. So these guys could easily add a couple of % of their money into tech. And that's huge money, right? We're talking trillions of dollars here. So what's going to happen? Well, as the lovely title here says, good luck explaining your underweight to the boss as the NASDAQ prints new all-time highs. So what's going to happen? FOMO, right? Yeah, these guys are going to get in late, they're going to chase, and they're going to pump in all the extra money, and that's going to help the market go higher. That's my take on it. Stan, you didn't dig up the children. Oh dear. Good fertilizer, probably. Kittens can generate money. Can they? Ready? I always thought that I work for them and not the other way around. That seems to be sort of the message they're giving me. They're like, okay, we're here now. You will now do as I say. That's sort of usually what kittens do. Let's have a look at this stuff. What's big money doing? Big money. Where is it positioned? It's a different way of showing you what I just showed you. This one here is from Goldman Sachs, one of the leading investment banks in the world. And what is it saying? It's saying that right now we're positioned at this level. And you could say, okay, it's relatively high. But is it? Well, in July, we were much higher, literally much higher, like 10% higher. In October, we were much higher. In 2023, in the summer, we were much higher. In 2022, we were much higher at these levels. So there is still big money could again just be more invested into stocks, and they're not. So it makes me confident that we can push somewhat higher. This is better than Countdown, which is a very, very, very dull English TV show, which is weirdly addictive, isn't it? I don't know what that's all about. Sort of a weird combination of nerdy word salad and a pretty presenter. It's a very, very odd thing that people watch that. But let me show you the biggest breakout of them all. And then we look at the third breakout, which is also massive. And then we'll get to some more bonus stuff here as well. The cats are always the boss. They are, and aren't they? And yes, Donald J. Trump is ringing the money bell today in 18 minutes on Wall Street. Apparently because he got on the cover of Time magazine. Didn't think people still wanted that. They tend to end up in jail, don't they? So I hope he doesn't. 70 likes from 500. Smash the like button now. Indeed, Fox is doing his job well, isn't he? Isn't he rather? I think we should give a hands up to Fox. Are there Fox emojis perhaps we could post? But yeah, have a look at this Google breakout here. This is a monster. Google hasn't done a thing for like months, feels like years, feels like decades, right? We had that high here, then we had a lower high here. That was pretty depressing. That high was even lower, and then we were down here, and then boom, quantum computing. Boom again this morning, trading even higher. Resistance now sits at $200, which is what the evil market makers said. So this is a story and a half. And look at that volume down there. This is textbook stuff, seriously. And what do I mean by textbook stuff? I mean, if you understand the simple 4 rules to spot this breakout and know that you should have bought it 2 days ago, then you would have watched my masterclass before, because otherwise it's exceptionally unlikely you'd know that, because almost nobody understands it, except, at least not outside of Wall Street. We've got Foxes. Brilliant. All right, love that. Give a hand to Fox Gaming, who's our new in-house concentration camp guard. As a German, that's incredibly offensive, which is why I love it. So here's another one. Here is Amazon. And Amazon, what did it do? Well, took out the previous highs here, right? Rallied up nicely. Volume's a bit boring, which I don't love. But we are breaking above the 200, the 220, the 230. I think we're taking out here this morning. Roughly, we're at 229.84 as I took this screenshot about half an hour ago. So what's that saying? Amazon has been lagging the whole Mag 7 for the last 2 years or so. It's up only 35% in the last 2 years, which is pretty miserable, right? 35%. Compared to the S&P basically did that this year. So huge opportunities there. Huge freaking opportunities to make some money. So that's one important factor. And then I promised you a secret. Here is the secret. I'm going to tell you a secret. I'll explain the secret even. What really drives the market sort of day to day, week to week? Does anybody have a guess? What actually drives the market? Like what do you think it is? Do you think it's profits maybe? What do you think it is? Or do you think it's news? What do you think it is? Do you think it's maybe emotions? Which one do you think it is? Give me a 1 if you think it's profits. Give me a 2 if you think it's the news. Give me a 3 if you think it's emotions. And I'll see what you guys put in here. Sentiment. Okay, I didn't write that, but that's pretty good. Expectations, sentiment, fear and greed, Stan's saying. Emotion, fear and loathing. For expectations, psychology, buybacks. Okay. And now we're getting, as I put some numbers on the screen there, it's getting a little easier for you. Mostly 3s. Some of you are saying 1, 2, and 3, but mostly it's 3. Short-term 3. Greed. Yeah, greed's a good one. 1, 2, and 3. Because some of you think it all. Trump. Yes, Trump ringing the bell will help. Yeah, but I think most of you here seem to agree. Pretty much everybody agrees that it's actually number 3. And of course, Winston, yes, who's incredibly important. So if we can agree that in the short term, it is emotions that drive the market, it's not any of the real hard stuff, it's not the numbers, it's not the earnings, it's not the tweets, it's that stuff, then what would be the most beautiful thing for the stock market to do ever? Or for the world to do ever, for the stock market to go higher? Well, you'd have to have some sort of measure of emotions going through the roof. And look what we've got. Expectations for the next 12 months on stock prices to increase are at these levels here, that level there, that one. And have we been at that level since 1985 when my data begins? No, the French would say, which is pretty much what they say every time you ask them to do something. They just look at you and they go, no. Snarl at you and sort of imply that you are not worth stepping on, quite frankly. At least that's what happens to me when I'm in France. And I do shout at them in English, though, which probably doesn't help. So what does that say to you? That your momentum, your emotions, the market will be driven higher. Could something terrible happen? Yes, something terrible could happen. A cat could get run over. That would be terrible. But it means we're going to get some higher highs, as my friend Bhav Patel says here. So watch this. It's all about psychology. And yes, the emotion is driven by the tax cuts and the deregulation and all that stuff that's coming. And I'll touch upon one of those in just a moment. But you gotta love the French. Do you? I'm not sure. I'm not sure you're going to love the French. I'm sure there are some nice ones somewhere, but they probably emigrated. I'm being a bit harsh on the French this morning. Let's pick on somebody else next. So what are you going to do? Well, market's going to keep driving higher, but it'll only be some stocks, a few stocks that'll do all of the gains. Everything else will do absolutely nothing. So if you want to find those few stocks and tell me, and I'll tell you, it's actually very easy. It's really, really, really very easy. It's not rocket science. You can learn it where? In the masterclass. How do you get there? You get to felixprehn.com/get free. And what do you need for it? A notebook and half an hour. That's it. That's all there is to it. So watch it, and you will be wiser, my man. I'm your favorite German man. Probably not a tough list, is it? Is there a number 2? I very much doubt it. It's probably Adolf or something like that, right? The Brits are obsessed. So I showed you this yesterday. Do you remember this? Do you remember if you tuned in yesterday? I showed you this. And Donald J. Trump, I was going to say tweet, but I think he, what's his platform called? He truths. And he wrote, any company investing $1 billion or more in the United States of America will receive fully expedited approvals and permits, including environmental approvals, get ready to drill. Sorry, rock. And what happens one day later? Literally just one day after he puts this out. There's spammers in the chat. All those people who put all the 3s in there, get rid of them. This is what happens the next day. Today, Exxon says they plan to build, wait for it, a power plant to use natural gas to power data centers directly. So they're not building a power plant for you and me. They're not going to connect it to the grid because that all takes tons of permits. They're just going to build a power plant and they're going to connect it directly to a massive data center, like an Amazon or a Meta or a Microsoft type data center. And have they ever done that before? No. Do they have power plants? Well, yes, but only to power their own installations. They don't actually have power plants. So do you think this is linked? Yeah. So there is a tremendous amount of activity happening because businesses are like, what? We're allowed to do stuff. We can do what we want to do without all this regulation in the way and without all the penalties, which is amazing, right? So love that. Okay, we've cobbled Raj Patel here, which well done, Fox. Well done. You can kick people out as well. You can ban them. You can be really evil if you like. So that's, to me, a little indicator of what's to come. We get a lot of those news items coming out and between now and sort of mid-January, and that will tremendously lift the market. Now, this was yesterday. Look how beautiful that was. Google 5%, Meta 2%, Nvidia 3%, Amazon 2%, Tesla almost up 6%, 424. And then, well, shall I change it to today? Whoops. No, it's okay. Look at the numbers. On what happens after big rallies, people take profits. completely irrational, but that's just the way human beings are. They all exit too early. And stocks tend to then drop slightly less than a percentage point. That's usually what you see. And that's just a bit of profit taking. So this isn't a big deal. This isn't some crazy sell-off. We're not seeing any significant numbers here. Just a little bit of profit taking after yesterday's beautiful rally there. Jonathan, appreciate you tuning in. Now, as we've beaten all the spams here, we do have 660 likes with 2,500 people on it. So 2,000 people are on the stream who think that hitting the like button could be dangerous. I tell you what, it might burn a whole calorie. Think of all the money you'll save on Ozempic. Right? Be brilliant. So shall we have a look at the breakouts here? We've got literally all the major stocks here. Microsoft, that's a nice breakout here. Why? Because let me draw a line. We have exceeded these sort of highs here, right? Well, you could draw it that way. That might be a little bit better. Actually, that's probably the better way of doing it. So nice breakout there. Tesla, absolutely freaking flying. And trading at 427, I think might be slightly higher, actually, pre-market. CrowdStrike, ZS, Alta, there's a lot of stuff that's really, really, really rallying up here, which is beautiful to see. Bitcoin, of course, still doing its thing, which looks pretty decent. A little bit of consolidation there, but it looks good to me. And should we have a look at some of our favorite stocks? Let's start with Tesla, and let's look at Palantir, SoFi, Nvidia, and so on. Score Game edits, you're 11 years old. I love that you're investing, my friend. You got 6K in Netflix, Nvidia, Apple, etc. Brilliant. Keep doing that. Seriously, watch my masterclass down below. You'll learn how to find the stocks that you might want to be in, and then you really want to knuckle down on risk management, because you want to preserve your capital. That's actually your primary job, is preserving capital. So we take some risk, but we don't take huge risks, right? So we get into a position, you set a stop loss somewhere logical, or if you can't find somewhere logical, a little bit below it. And then you kind of remove the emotions from it. And if you then shift your money from kind of breakout to breakout to breakout, you're going to compound at an incredible rate. That'll be higher than the market, very likely. And you, my friend, are very young. You are going to be, you're going to be a billionaire if you keep going. Seriously, you'll be a billionaire, I guarantee you. And you might think that's a crazy thing to say. Well, let me show you something. And you're just digressing me, but I get so excited when young people invest, because the earlier you do it, this applies to all of you, by the way. So he's got $6,000, right? Let's just say he's going to do only what the market does. He's going to do 12%. The market's done 12% the last 10 years on the S&P. And he's super young, right? Let's just say he does it for 30 years, which will take him to age 41, right? Which is younger than me. And let's say you're going to add in every month, what, $100? Okay. And every year you're going to add in an extra 10%, because presumably your income's going to go up somewhat. How much money do you think he's going to make? Let's find out, right? Okay, that takes you to $875,000. Not quite $1 billion, because you're putting in so little. But you're going to get to a point where you can save $1,000 a month, right? And then you hit the calculate button. Now it's going to be 8 million, right? Say you actually learn how to beat the market, like I'm up 200% this year. Maybe you'll do 30. Okay, let's get a little bit more exciting here. And what happens then? Well, now you've got $400 million. Did you see what happened there? Do you see how beating the market took you from a couple of million to 400 million? You, my friend, keep at this, and you're going to want to figure out a way to add more than $1,000 a month to your portfolio, and you will be a billionaire. I guarantee you. It's the easiest thing in the world. Time and knowledge. That's all you really need. So I only started with $6 today. Okay. It doesn't really matter, but you get the idea, right? Tesla here is a thing of beauty at $424.30. It is above the resistance line, which is important. So what do we want to do today? We want to close above where? $420. That's the resistance line, right? That's where the French are lying and waiting, and they're ready to hit you with champagne corks. And you don't want that. It can hurt, can take eyes out. Very dangerous. Don't ever put your face over a champagne bottle. Seriously. It's a serious thing. People lose their eyesight all the time from it. And then the French will laugh at you and they'll call stupid non-French person. So that's good news, right? It's beautiful. The volume, what's going on with the volume every day? It's getting bigger as we are rallying up. Every single day it's getting bigger. So this is kind of the perfect setup. Let's look at, say, SoFi. Mickey, you're shorting the market. Mickey, you make your life very difficult if you go against the crowd. If you're shorting, there's times for shorting, and I'll short stuff all the time, but only in a bear market, not in a bull market. It's idiotic. It's just moronic. You're basically saying, I know better than everybody else out there. And the problem with that is that maybe you do. Maybe fundamentally you're right. Maybe the world is crazy, and maybe all of this is unsustainable. But the problem is that the highest number of respondents in the last 45 years expect the market to go up in the next year. So what are they going to do? They're going to buy stocks. So you'll be the only sucker selling, right? Don't short against the trend. Very, very expensive thing to do. Step away from the ledge. Indeed, that's precisely what one of our head coaches always called Elliot when I have a stupid trade idea. I say, Elliot, I've got this idea. What do you think? And he always says, goes silent for a while, and then he says, why don't you sleep on it? And that's his very polite way of telling me, step away from the ledge, son. And he's always right, actually. Actually, I put on one the other day, and he said, good luck, which made me feel really good. And I was like, very tight stop loss. And guess what? A stop loss got triggered. Well, he's done this for about 30 years more than me, so he's got some insight there on me. SoFi going sideways, right? Is there anything wrong with going sideways? No, it's just consolidation, nothing to worry about. It's just what stocks do. Those stocks don't go up in a straight line. Let's have a look at Palantir then as well. Guinea pigs. Do you think Tom Lee has got some sort of predicting machine that tells him exactly what's going to happen what month? No. Tom Lee is just covering his backside by saying he thinks the market's going to rally, but then there's a chance of a correction. That's basically all he's saying. So if there is a correction, he's going to come out and going, genius, right? And if there isn't, everyone's going to be happy anyway. They'll forget about it. So it's a very smart way of positioning himself. The man's very clever. But yeah, nobody knows anything like that. So just don't act on stuff like that. It's a really silly idea. Palantir, it's still slightly below its trend line, which I'm not loving, but the hammer candle yesterday was a show of strength. And a hammer candle looks like a hammer, right? Looks like this. Nice look sort of handle. And what does it mean? It means that during the day, we dropped all the way to the bottom of the candle. And then what happened? The dip buyers came in and they brought us all the way back up again. And that's why it's quite bullish, because you dropped and then everyone buys the stock. So it is actually quite a bullish setup here. Although we're trading slightly below it yesterday, I wouldn't worry about it too much at this point. Hammer time. Exactly. MC hammer time. Get the pants out. Any other stocks you want me to look at? Anything else? Should we look at Nvidia perhaps? Anything else? Put it in the chat. The MC hammer candle. Yeah, we should definitely rebrand that. Right. So Nvidia opening here by the looks of it below yesterday's intraday. Well, we were a little lower. We were dropped to 135. But what do I not like about it? I don't like that we're below the 139 support line, which is where the market makers sit. We're at 137, which isn't brilliant. So what do we want to do? We want to close above 139. That's really quite important, or in that region. So I think risk management should have already kicked in. If it hasn't, we're below the 50-day moving average line, so be a little bit careful on that. And I'm long-term bullish Nvidia, and if you're one of those people who says, I buy stocks and I've got 30 years to get rich, then good for you. I love the patience that you've got, in which case, none of this really matters. But if you're somebody who's a bit more like me and you're like, I want to make money every month, then you might want to put on your risk management pants here. I mean, for the kittens, I will have to introduce the kittens to you. Maybe I can bring them on a stream tomorrow. They're getting a lot more confident. They were just stuck in one room the whole time because that's kind of the best thing to do for them at the beginning. And now they're exploring. They're very, very sweet. Very, very sweet. We've got 2 of them, and the little boy protects the little girl the whole time. It's very sweet. And it tells you so much about nature, doesn't it? That's kind of our job, right? Our job is to bring home the bacon and protect the women. And it's the same you see in nature. Soundhound, it hit what? The resistance at $15. It's almost as if this works, right? It did it 2 days in a row. 3rd day, it kind of gave up, and now it's coming down. We're trading below yesterday's close. So nothing terrible, but it's sort of the momentum is kind of going out there a bit. And then if you look at the volume down here, that's also coming down. There's a lot of requests for AMD. I see some people are calling AMD like the greatest thing since sliced bread and that sort of thing. Same people also told you that oat milk was the future. No judgment there. So let's have a look at AMD and let's look at what the chart's telling us. And what is it saying to you? What do you see? Is it A, a falling knife, or B, the greatest opportunity in the world? Seriously, A or B? A, falling knife, B, greatest opportunity ever. What do you say on AMD here? Let's get a show of hands. AMD is a relic, says Winston Home. Mark says A, as in falling knife. Stay away, says Katie. We've got more A's here from Stan and AA and Raptors. Mostly A's coming in. Falling knife. Lots of A's. Yes, I'm with you on that, my friend. Somebody thinks it's an opportunity. Someone's an optimist. It could be an opportunity, but at the moment it isn't. And what you want to look for is more moving averages are falling. You're below them all, right? That's really the first thing to look at. You're below the moving averages and they're pointing down. They're looking sad and glum. Stay the heck away. Put your money somewhere else. This stock might recover, yes, but it's possible that it's going to do this for 2 years. And what have you done in those 2 years then? What have you earned? Well, you made 0%, right? What will I do in those 2 years? I'll probably make 400%. Now, you could have just bought the index and you'll probably make 25%. So what's the problem with your outcome? Well, you are somewhere between 25% to 400% poorer than the rest of us. So your money is now worth 25% to 400% less than mine. And that's a problem. So you don't want to be a freaking bag holder. So don't buy falling knives. Don't become a bag holder voluntarily. Was that a hint? Certainly not. No, never would cross my mind. YouTube suggested to me, they sort of, inside YouTube Studio, they suggest little videos to you. And you know, like stuff that's performing well or something. And there was a video that popped up and it was about AMD by a certain somebody I shan't mention. And so that's why, hence the slight dig. I'm sure, you know, good intentions and all that. But yeah, just, you know, sometimes people say strange things. Right. Fallen Angel. CrowdStrike. Crowd's looking pretty good, isn't it? We got 977 likes. If you are the person that hits the like when you are the 1000th person, guess what happens? Wealth and opportunity and happiness gets showered upon you instantly, apparently. So I'm told. Any way to find out is to get to that number. So what's CrowdStrike doing here? Well, CrowdStrike's doing a beautiful, bouncy, wonderful thing. First of all, it's got a classic breakout pattern that happened here. That was your breakout. And how do you know that? Well, you've watched my masterclass and you will know how to spot breakouts. Massive volume. There you go. And then what happens? It went up and it went down again, right? And then it went up again. And that's almost always what happens. And that is your second chance to get in on it if you were asleep. And then went up a little bit sideways, went up again very, very nicely and did that again. And now what is it doing? It's going a little bit sideways, a little bit consolidation phase. I wouldn't be too worried about it at this point because, well, you got in at 270, so you're up like 30%. So you're not really exactly complaining if it goes down a few percentage points, but no, it looks very good. It still is partying like it's 1999. And if you think about the impact of what Google's done, quantum computing and so on, the whole cybersecurity space is going to absolutely take off in my humble opinion. So we need to break through the 370 line here, which is the resistance. This is in TradeVision. Get yourself a trial to that if you haven't already. How do you do that? You go down to the link below at felixprehn.com/TradeVision and Bob's your uncle. We got 1,096 likes. Okay, who's the person who hit the 1,000th like? Did amazing things happen? Money just sort of fell out of the ceiling? Is that what happened? That's what I keep being told. We can have a look at PayPal. Yeah, that's a good idea. We haven't done that yet. We did just look at some of the other ones being mentioned there, and of course, you're super welcome to go back in the stream here and check it out. And FOA, that's still rallying, isn't it, my friend? Are you in that too? I hope you are. We're up bucket loads. What's the PayPal? It's always nothing to say, right? Just perfect rally up. Where did we call it? We called it down here at 60 something. That was the breakout. That was the classic breakout. And there was another opportunity somewhere here, yeah, in the 70s. But the real one was at 60. And we're at $91 right now, which is pretty sweet. So what's going on here? We're $1 above the resistance. And if we break above that and close above that meaningfully again here for a second day running, I would expect that resistance to start moving up, maybe to 95 or something, which means all the market positions are moving up, the market makers are moving up, and good things happen to a thing called PayPal. Kitty's update. I don't know if I have any pictures of them on here on the computer. I don't know if I do. No, I'll post some in the channel. Okay, that's what I'll do. I think that's probably the best thing. Hang on, do I have them? No, I don't think I do. Oh no, I've got some here actually. Yeah. Hang on. Okay. This is Albert. He's pretty cute, isn't he? And where's the little one? That's the bigger one of the two. There's a smaller one too. I don't know if I have her pictures here. Yeah, here we go. This was her when we adopted her. Isn't she cute? She's about, I don't know, 12 weeks or 14 weeks or something. And yeah, she's settling in. This is obviously in the cage at the shelter. And those two guys were together, which is why we adopted them together. I kind of came for the little one, and then they said, "Oh, but they're friends." I'm like, "Yeah, it'd be pretty cruel to separate them." So yeah, they're basically the ones who are going to be, you know, keeping us going, doing all the research, doing all the digging, picking out the good stocks, spotting the breakouts here. So, my friends, thank you very much for tuning in. I love you for watching. If you haven't done so already, get yourself a week's trial to TradeVision. See what software I use every single day to help me make money and give you the best data out there, which is really what the whole purpose is of that project. And of course, also make sure you watch the masterclass, because that's actually the one thing that'll improve your skills, like genuinely improve your skills and give you knowledge you'll have for the rest of your life. And you can teach it to people. You can share it with people, just like you can share this very video with people. And I love you for watching. I will actually be live tomorrow. I was going to go on a trip, but I've just canceled it because it was a bit cold there where we're going to go. So we decided the weather wasn't brilliant. The weather was going to be better here. Those are real problems, aren't there? Kind of problems I like to have. So thanks very much. And I hope to see you live tomorrow. Same time, same place. All the best.